Judy Trin. Judy, let's rewind a bit. Who have we heard from so far from the protest organizer side? I know Pat King has testified, a lawyer on behalf of the organizers, and also an ex-military member.
That's right. So Pat King, lawyer Keith Wilson, who represented Tamara Lich, and Tom Marazzo, who is the ex-military individual. He had intelligence background. So basically, they testified yesterday. Today on tap, we've heard from Benjamin Dichter, who is the head of communications for the Freedom Convoy. And up next, we're going to hear from James Bowder, who drafted the MOU calling the Canadian government illegitimate and called for its overthrow. He's with the group Canada Unity. And finally on tap today, we're going to hear from Tamara Lich, who has been very much the face and I guess the heart for many people of the Freedom Convoy movement.
Judy, what has stood out to you about what we've heard so far from the sort of Freedom Convoy organizer side in terms of their testimony, conflicting sort of stories or even like internal disputes, it seems, in the organizers of what was happening there for those 3 weeks?
Nick, there has been so much internal struggle within the organization that has been revealed. They disagreed with each other in terms of tactics. And it also appears that from yesterday's Pat King testimony, it appears that organizers knew that he was going to be trouble from the very start. Tom Marazzo actually referred to him as a hand grenade about to go off. But yet they co-opted him into the movement. And the reason for that is because he had a huge following of truckers. He had a huge social media presence, and people, he is charismatic, and people gravitated towards him. So they wanted that. They wanted that type of following, those type of numbers to add pressure to their organization so that they could increase more pressure on the federal government.
And Judy, I know that as journalists, we're supposed to be objective, but from your observations of all the testimony you've heard, what kind of a picture is it painting of whether or not the Emergencies Act should have been used? Because this, as we know, has not been just a regular protest. This turned into an occupation with heavy vehicles and trucks that really disturbed the residents of Ottawa and intimidated people for several days.
Well, you talk about an occupation, right? This started out as a protest, but it became an occupation, an illegal one. And today we are following the money trail here at the Commission. What you heard from Commission lawyers is they detailed just how much money the Freedom Convoy was able to raise. That total is $24 million from 4 different platforms. GoFundMe, the US-based Christian fundraising site Give Send Go, the Adopt a Trucker program, as well as cryptocurrency. So you can imagine, Jennifer, $24 million, how long that amount of money can sustain this protest.
Judy, I wonder if you could just sort of quickly answer this question. The Freedom Convoy organizers, they're getting quite a few sort of days of testimony here versus Ottawa residents who really didn't get that much time sort of at the beginning of this entire, inquiry. How's that going over in Ottawa?
It's not going over well. The lawyer representing the people of Ottawa, Paul Champ, was extremely angry yesterday. He pointed it out that it was ridiculous that Freedom Convoy organizers were getting several days while witnesses for the city of Ottawa, the residents who felt the brunt of this protest, got basically 1 day on the stand. And he said that wasn't fair. He is actually involved in a class action lawsuit. He's seeking $300 million on behalf of Ottawa residents and businesses. And what he's going after right now, the lawsuit only names the leadership group, but he's thinking of expanding that claim to include every single trucker who occupied Ottawa and every single person who donated to their cause.
All right, the legal wrangling continues then indeed beyond the inquiry. That is CTV National News correspondent Judy Trin for us live in Ottawa this afternoon. Thanks so much, Judy.
Thank you.
Pleasure.